Welcome back. We are here with another episode of Built on Impact, where the Ecodrive team is sitting down with founders, marketers, operators, really just the faces behind brands in our community. And we're talking about two things. Number one, the businesses that they're building, and number two, the way in which they're embedding impact into a core foundational piece of what they're trying to build. So, without further ado, I think this conversation is so appropriately timed because we find ourselves in World Ocean Month, which used to be World Ocean Day and now has taken the whole month it absolutely deserves. And then we have Plastic Free July coming up next month. So I think it's really fun to just have a casual conversation, Carly, with you today and talk about ocean impact and the ways in which your brand is helping to clean up the ocean. But before we get into all that, I'll hand you the mic. Would love to do an intro, who you are, what you do, where you find yourself in the business journey right now, and maybe some of the stories that have kind of followed that journey.
Awesome. Thanks, Grace. I'm so excited to do this. My
So
name is Carly Alarcon. I'm the CEO and co-founder of YVB, which stands for Your Very Best. We are a mushroom blend company. I guess you could call us a supplement, but we're more of like a food additive or a functional beverage additive, if you will. We curate and craft very targeted blends of different mushrooms. We have 4 different powder blends. Those are our newest products that you can blend into anything, whether it be coffee, tea, a smoothie, or my favorite is cooking with it, like putting it into pasta sauces and broths and stuff like that. And we also offer capsules. So if you're a capsule person, one capsule is one serving, and you can just pop it into your regular stack and take it. So our whole methodology is that we want to fit seamlessly into your ritual, no matter, how you like to kind of take supplements. We're also more than mushroom coffee. So I think one thing that people always ask me is, oh, is this a coffee? Or I get, is this a psychedelic? Which it's not a psychedelic. They're dietary mushrooms, but we're also more than mushroom coffee. So coffee has made the kind of adaptogenic mushroom a little bit limited. You're getting caffeine and it has to be a beverage. And we really wanted to create a very high quality product that really could just be versatile and fit into your own routine.
yeah.
We also are very stringent and thoughtful with our sourcing. So all of our mushrooms are sourced from a regenerative organic supplier in San Diego. So everything's grown in the US, it's grown to order. And we also post all of our certificates of analysis for our products online. So everything's third party tested, everything's manufactured in a CGMP facility, and you can see all of that. We're very transparent. You can look everything up online and take a look for yourself.
Amazing. That was probably the best description of what you do in a clear display. So let's talk a little bit about how you got into this world. I think it's pretty unique to be able to give an answer like that.
Sure,
So,
sure. Yeah, I'd love to talk about that. So, I have a background in nutraceutical ingredient manufacturing. And what that means is that I worked in operations for a manufacturer that made the ingredients that would go into a finished vitamin supplement. So
okay.
I spent a lot of time in the manufacturing process and how ingredients are made in supply chain, in sourcing, in quality,
Yeah.
right? And saw a lot of things that were a little bit scary, honestly. And so when 2020 hit, I think all of us, we kind of looked to create a business or maybe make sourdough or kind of find something, to dig our heels into to
Yeah.
pass the time. And it just so happened that my father-in-law, who's our chief science officer, actually, he formulates all of our products.
Okay.
He was making us in his office these little mushroom blend supplement capsules. And then he would hand deliver them to all of our houses and kind of give us these, immune support, all natural solutions before the vaccine was available.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I mean, my husband and I were very blessed, so we got to work from home, but like we were dialed in on those mushrooms.
Wow.
Like we were feeling we were feeling amazing. We were getting so much work done. We were so creative. We were so grounded. We were like
Wow.
feeling so amazing that we were like, there's something here.
Yeah.
And that's when we kind of started putting together this business. We were like, there has to be something else besides mushroom coffee or other mushroom supplements that were either not made in an FDA registered facility, like a tincture, or some of these things you find at a farmer's market,
Yeah.
or were just like a coffee, that you had to have in
Yeah.
a coffee. And that's kind of where our journey began. My whole family works in this business. So, like I said, my father in law, who's a physician, he formulates everything for us. My husband, who's more works on strategy and kind of the back end and like accounting and things like that.
Yeah.
He's worked in healthcare for his entire career as well, but more on the administration side.
Okay.
And so we really wanted to create something that people could supplement and optimize themselves to feel their very best. A lot of the messaging in the wellness industry and health is very fear based, and that you're broken and you need to buy something in order to fix yourself. And we just don't resonate with that message at all, unless you have some sort of chronic illness, that you're on your own journey.
Mhm.
Most of us just need a little bit of help to kind of, clear brain fog
Yeah.
or help us get a little bit more energy or just feel a little bit optimal so that we can reach our own peak potential.
Yeah. I love that. You use the phrase dialed in, sharing your own experience for how you felt, but that's actually what I would use to describe your branding and your website and your overall experience. But when I met you, the brand was quite different. So maybe tell me a little bit about the evolution of the brand and how you've kind of landed on this messaging.
Yeah, what a journey and continues to be. I think being an entrepreneur is so much different than working in the corporate world or working for somebody else where, at the end of the day, you can just be like, I'm done and we'll figure it out the rest tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um, branding. Branding is such an art. I have so much respect for people that have just built and scaled these amazing brands because and I'm sure everyone's heard this before, it all boils down to storytelling, right? And what is that story? And how do you build trust with that story and be authentic with your story and make it engaging? It's very challenging. I don't have a marketing background. I am an operational person. It's been a very spiritual experience, to say the least,
Yeah.
on creating the brand. And it started off as AURIA, AURIA. My husband and I got together and we were like, AU, it's like gold and it's luxurious and then like kind of like your aura and we mix it together and like that's mushrooms help you with that. And then we realized we're trying to educate people on what even the name means.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm like, I don't think I even know what it means.
Yeah.
It's like you have to get really clear. You have to get super clear
Yeah.
in what it is that you want, what it is you're trying to say, what it is that you're offering. And so at the end of the day, we had to do some soul searching, which I will say, I think, we can always look back in retrospect and be like, we should have pivoted earlier, right? Or we should have done this, or we should have done that. But part of the journey is really making mistakes. And it's also, there's
Yeah.
a lot of failure, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Uh, it's what you do after, right? Like you're not going to wallow or maybe wallow for like a little bit,
Yeah.
like, you know, and then move on.
Yeah.
And so we pivoted and we were like, what do mushrooms help you to feel? And it's really your very best. They help you to unlock your very best. And that's where we had the opportunity to pivot. We wanted to come out with the powders. We got a lot of feedback from people that people have capsule fatigue. There are so many supplements on the market
Yeah.
that there is just oversaturated. You go on Instagram and you're like, you need this, this omega-3 and you need this and you need that. And this helps with debloating. Like people are taking so many capsules.
Yeah.
And one thing that we notice is that functional beverages are very popular. People love to take creatine or collagen or some sort of like little drink in the morning before a workout or before, they start their day or maybe even before they go to bed. And it's really easy to just put a teaspoon and that we also wanted to keep the serving size really low, so it's not like you have to take a half a cup of
Yeah.
this, right, to, like, get an efficacious
Yeah.
dose, you know? Like, no, none of that. Um, and so we came out with the powders, and we had this opportunity where, okay, we're gonna go do another manufacturing run, we have to
Yeah.
do more packaging, so we have an opportunity to iterate, and so let's take the opportunity, and we did.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, some of it is research and like looking at data, and then some of it is just kind of trying things and
Yeah.
seeing
Taking a
what
bet.
works.
Such a wise approach to boil it down to what is the simple messaging we're trying to get across, and then also taking customer feedback to guide that journey is kind of the magic duo. If I were to land on the page and had 5 seconds, I'd take away a few things. Of course, some of which you've already hit, the importance of certifications, the, US grown nature, and then obviously my eyes typically gravitate towards any give back mission element. And you actually have a multifold element into the brand. So maybe tell me, before I give too many spoilers, tell me a little bit about kind of the ocean give back, eco drive, how our world's connected.
Victor and I continue to build this business upon it. We are mission based and giving back,
Oh,
even if that means that I mean, what are we like? We're 2.5, 3 years in, and as we're growing and scaling, right, that we still build that in. No matter what, we are giving back.
yeah.
And that's just kind of who we are as people as well. So it was important to us that we were authentic and
Yeah.
lived to our own truth.
Yeah.
Um, our oceans need help. So we already knew that we wanted to align with somebody that was going to pull ocean plastic
Yeah.
and help our planet. And we went right to 4Ocean. And we
Yeah.
quickly realized that to partner with 4Ocean directly, we needed to be able to make more of a significant impact. And where we were as a business,
Yeah.
it needed to be kind of on a more digestible scale.
Yeah.
And it was really wonderful timing. 4Ocean was like, actually, we're integrating with this platform, and you're going to be able to integrate it with Shopify.
Yeah.
And we had the opportunity to, I guess, be one of the very early adopters of the ocean
Yeah.
stick pulling initiative, which was great.
Yeah.
You guys make it so easy. The integration is seamless. We can set our own parameters. I think we do for every order we pull 2 pounds, and then for orders over $100 we pull four.
Yeah.
But what's really great about this partnership is that our customers get an email after that they can log in and see proof, see verified proof of the plastic being pulled. So there's no greenwashing
Yeah.
here. We became a B Corp in January. It was very important to us that we do not greenwash anything. We put our money where our mouth is. We walk our talk, right?
Yeah.
And I'll say from an engagement standpoint from our customers, I mean, on those impact ID emails, we have a 67% open rate.
Wow. Amazing.
That's insane. So like
Yeah.
everyone wants to see, I think it's also a little bit of like curious, like, oh, let me see,
Yeah.
what's going on here,
What's
which I'm
happening?
glad. I'm glad. I'm the same way. If there's any kind of impact, proof, I want to see it.
Yep.
Um, but also, I think what also differentiates you guys there, like as a family, we have a composting service, right? That like
Mm.
comes bi-weekly.
Yeah.
And they'll send an email that's like, oh, you've like diverted how many plastic straws or your carbon
Yeah.
footprint or whatever. But here with Ecodrive, you're getting a photo of like the dude that was pulling plastic in
Yeah.
like Asia,
Yeah.
and you get to see it. Like you see the latitude, the longitude, like
Yeah.
you get so much information. And that is, I mean, you just don't really find that anywhere else. So I think it's fantastic. And our customers love it.
Yeah, from a marketing to hear that marketing win stats, I'd argue we get as many emails as we take supplements as a society. We're
No, for
like
sure.
overload on email. And so we're seeing from a marketing lens, engagement drop on brand emails. But the fact that we've held pretty consistent with impact updates speaks to the fact that people, if they're investing in brands, they're giving back and they're able to see that ripple effect. They're able to see iPhone photos from the beaches of Bali or from, rivers in Indonesia of where their exact plastic is being pulled. they turn into brand advocates. And the people that are opening those emails are the individuals you want to continue to engage because they're hopefully going to be lifelong customers. And so I
And
think,
it's also a piece of positive news. We're so inundated with negativity, or like your favorite brand will be bought out by Nestle and you're like, okay,
yeah,
there we go. And it's like,
no,
that is so it's disheartening. But then when you get an email that's like, "Hey, here's so and so that pulled, plastic that came
yeah,
from your order and you supported a small business," and
yeah,
it's great. It kind of like puts your faith back in humanity a little bit and in capitalism, right? So,
yeah.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I think you're reminded that there are still brands that are using their platforms for good. I think that, those headlines are far too many right now. And I think, especially for a select age group, there's kind of this, oh, we put our hope in these big brands early on that were doing something different. They were engaging with the sustainability story, and they've just now hitting the point where they're starting to sell off and merge into larger corporations, which is the unfortunate reality. But I think there's this renewed sense of hope when you're reminded there's still brands out there that are giving more than, is expected, and they are going above and beyond. We know that you all, of course, are pulling plastic for every order, but you're also inviting your customers to give back in other ways. Maybe speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, so we also have another partnership with a charitable third-party
Yeah.
organization. And what's cool about that is that for every order we donate 10%. And it's a curated group of charities that are meaningful to my family and I.
Oh,
One of them is called Blue Missions. Blue Missions install reverse gravity aquifers to areas of the Dominican Republic that don't have any running water. My husband's family is from the Dominican Republic, so it kind of goes all full
yeah.
circle.
Full circle.
It's really meaningful to us, as well as like Voices for Children, which helps every foster kid in Miami-Dade County pair
Yeah.
them with an advocate, to go to court with them and really advocate for them. And that's just two of like a bunch, right, of a
There, yeah.
curated handful. And so you'll get an email and you get to choose where you want your 10% to
Yeah.
go. So not only do we do that, then we have this partnership with Ecodrive. We pull ocean plastic. And then we've invested in a lot of other certifications. So the powders are USDA organic.
Wow.
They're also informed sport certified. And what that means is that they are WADA compliant. So if you are a professional athlete that is going to be drug tested,
Yeah.
that wants to take a bunch of supplements to really optimize your training routine and your competitive advantage, but you are concerned about drug tests and things, coming up on screenings,
Yeah.
we are WADA compliant and we are safe. And you can trust that adding our adaptogenic functional mushrooms to any of your stack, you can be confident that you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Mm. And then we're also certified B Corporation, which we got in January of
Huge.
this year, which was a journey.
Yeah.
That was a journey.
Yeah.
I think like we're so small that another friend of ours who is the CEO of another CPG brand, he was like, "You guys got B Corp certified?" And we were like, "Yeah." And he was kinda like, "How?" You
Yeah.
know? And I'm like, "Well, it took a year, it took a year." The funny story about that is that it was just my husband and I, um, doing all of the requirements, which are invasive,
Yeah.
and then I joined a B Corp group called Florida for Good here, and they all told me, "Oh, you can hire a consultant to help you with all of that." And I was like, "You're kidding me, right?" Like, so anyway, I'm glad that I rolled up my sleeves, and I know that Victor is too, because we were very like, we know the process very
Yeah.
well. But that was something that was super important to us, that was a feather in our cap that's like, "Listen, when you're investing in us, not only are you investing in your own health
Yeah.
and your own well-being, but you're giving back to a company that really walks their talk
Yeah.
and is really trying to do better by people and the planet."
Yeah. And is constantly looking for ways. How can we increase transparency? How can we invite our customer base to be part of a mission that's larger than just this transaction? So, huge kudos. I think you briefly mentioned it earlier, but with only a few years in, there are many brands that want to do elements like these. They want to give back, they want to do a percentage, they want to do XYZ, but they say, like, I'll do that when I get to X revenue, or I'll do that when I hit the 10-year mark because I'll know that I'll survive. I've passed the 5-year hump and it'll be easier to do it then. What would you say was like a deciding factor of doing it from day one? And maybe what's a bit of advice for a different way to look at that?
Sure. This might be a little woo-woo, I guess, but
Love woo.
you have the choice, you have the opportunity, right? You have the privilege
Yeah.
to build your business the way that you want to, right? And so if you build it on your foundation, on your own morals, right? Your own integrity, that it's all going to work out and be okay. So if you're thinking of it from a monetary standpoint, you're allocating whatever X percentage, right, per sale or whatever, it's all going to come back. Believing in karma and leaving the world a better place than when we came in, right? I think that's also our methodology with people. Anyone that we hire, we want to make them at their time with us is the best that it can possibly be, and that they leave better than when they came in.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's always just been very important to Victor and I. And also just with the transparency. Anybody who's building a business who is, worried about the money, right? We're always thinking about the bottom line, that's just
Yeah.
part of running a business.
Yeah.
Um, and then also, I think too, with all of the with social media, digital marketing, and we kind of see that there's a formula, right? For at least in my space in consumer product goods or
Mhm.
wellness, we
Yeah.
hate that word, but wellness.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure.
that you go out and you find an influencer that has a lot of followers and you pay them X amount of money, and they probably don't even try your product, right? But they're going to tell a bunch of people that they love it and it's the best thing. And that did not, and it has not resonated with our own integrity and
Yeah.
transparency. So that's something that we have chosen not to do
Yeah.
because it just doesn't vibe with us,
Yeah.
right? So we've had to find different ways and we've had to get more creative. And to be honest, we're still working on it. How do we get our authentic message across by building trust and building it on the truth? So it
Yeah.
kind of all comes full circle with the giving back, right? And having the certification so that you can trust us and
Yeah.
following the beat of our own drum with the marketing while also still looking at data, obviously, but
Yeah.
not compromising on who we are and trusting the process, which sometimes is kind of hard to do. I'm
Yeah.
not going to lie. Sometimes I'm like, should I just go out and find some sort of influencer? But I can never fit it into like what I need it to be,
Yeah.
right? I would want them to like really take it for like a month and then like give me feedback, like almost like it's like a clinical trial,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which that's not
Yeah.
it,
It's hard to wrap that up in a 20-second clip. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say my advice, the bottom line advice is be true to yourself
Mm.
and be true to your own authenticity, and everything will fall into place the way that it needs to go.
I think that is a perfect call to action. You said multiple times, it's just a reflection of who we are. And I think there are lots of individuals out there that have deep passions, care about missions as individuals. And I hope this is a good call to action or an invitation for those individuals to say, how can that extend beyond my own life? And how can my brand assume some of that privilege to build a mission and to really create impact that's far beyond the scope of just the business itself? So,
Absolutely.
incredible advice. Forewarning to the audience, Carly and I could probably chat for hours about the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. I think we need to
We
just
could.
do a separate podcast just
We
on
could.
that. I love it. You all have pulled almost 3,000 pounds from the ocean. It's all verified, tracked. The evidence is there, and it's just one key piece of your overall commitment to transparency. And we are so honored to be a part of it. So, incredible brand to check out. We'll make sure that this video is linked with all of the websites, the socials, the LinkedIn's, definitely continue following along the brand's journey and watch not only the pounds of plastic pulled from the ocean climb, but just the way in which the messaging continues to invite more people to be their very best. So, without taking too much time, thank you all for listening to another episode of Built on Impact. We can't wait for more conversations like these, casual, honest, but transparent conversations about what it looks like to build a mission into your brand. So, thank you so much, Carly.
Thanks, Grace. Thanks, guys.